Right, today I'm going for that hacker feel. We can see some flickering lights in the background. Let's turn that way. I'm actually in an underground car park, and I wanted to do it here because of the subject. It's very hackery. No, not really. I want to talk about bugs, to be honest. Bugs. Now, I know that I've had bugs in my code in the past. I've never honestly truly had something I knew caused major issue, although I did work for a company that released a product, and the team that were responsible for that product introduced some pretty bad bugs. And as a developer, I was part of the development team. There were about 7 products. Each person had to take 2 weeks to help support this product whilst it was being fixed, because the issues were so bad. There were so many support calls that we all had to take 2 weeks out of our time to support this product. So yeah, I've been on the support side of an issue, and I know to not produced a bug that caused such a bad issue myself. Although, as I say, I know there's been bugs in my code, and as time's gone on and how we now develop and release with all the automated testing, bugs or at least really bad bugs are a bit closer, are not such a big issue anymore, don't happen so often. But I am going to talk about a bug that I do remember, and this was zooming past, making lots of noise, but I wanted to do it here because it's a different spot, even though I'm in the car. The bug I want to talk about was something I did when I first started working, and what it is, it was not a product that I was building for a release. It was a tool that I was looking to do just as a kind of a test tool, learning tool, potentially something that I could have improved, and maybe because at the time I was working as a test engineer and we were writing tools to help with the test, but they're all internal tools. So anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. The bug, actually, funny enough, when I was at university in the first year, there was a guy who I think dropped out after the end of the first year, to be honest. He would want to learn C, because we were doing modular 2 back then. We wanted to learn C. So he decided to read a book and implement some code, and he did this exact same bug, right? And we kind of laughed at him because of it basically the system had to go and do some jiggery pokery to kill the process. But I then did this same issue when I was doing some playing around about 3 years later. And not to go any further about telling you, it was a fork bomb. F-O-R-K, fork bomb. So the kind of meat and potatoes, should we say, of it is basically you have a process that's, well, I was looking at creating some sort of service software run on Unix. It opens up a port, right? So you log on to it on this port, and what happens is when you log in, you enter your username and password, and then it forks a process so it can continue processing the, what it needs to do. And so you've always got this other process waiting for the next person to log in. So it's not a matter of like log in and suddenly no one else can log in. When the log's in, it forks a new version of it. Almost say thread. It's not really a thread, but if you know threads, think of it in that way. But it's not. It's actually an entire process, but in its own right. But it forks a process. A fork bomb is where you accidentally, repeatedly on that login fork process. So what happens is it'll fork thousands of them until every single process is taken up on the box. And at the time this was a Unix box. I think it was a IBM AIX box, I think, at the time. And yeah, basically what happens is it takes up every single process that's free, slows the server down dramatically. Even logging into the box once you've done this, there's no service, no free processes to even log in to the box. And basically what happens is the admin needs to go and then kill the main process, the original process. That kills all the forked processes. So yeah, that was a major bug. I accidentally run it, and then about half an hour later, the system admin's contacted me saying, "Do you realise you've just blocked up the system?" I'm like, oops. As I say, this guy at university did exactly the same thing, except that obviously that was a little bit more kind of, I think when I did mine, it was out of hours, so it was very quiet, whereas he did obviously on a university server, and nobody could log into that box in the entire university until the system admin had cleaned it. But that was his problem, not mine. But I caused the same issue. But yeah, that's the only real bug that I can remember that's had a deep impact on me. I've obviously had small bugs when I've been writing code, but nothing that's ever caused that much of an issue. So what about you? Have you ever had a bug that you remember, something that caused an issue? If so, leave a comment below. Remember, if you like it, like it. If you want more, subscribe. And I'll see you next time. Bye for now.